How you doing?
Hi, everybody. We have the only master here, I believe, at the knife show today.
Yeah,
journeyman,
the only Metalsmith in the ABS is here.
All right. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started making knives?
Oh, wow. Well, I started making knives as a hobby in high school and bought kit blades, mail orders, and put handles on them. Sold a few, had a good time. And then later, you know, how kids get older and interests change. And then I got a job and went to work, and I got tired of being a mechanic and smelling like diesel fuel and carrying a pager. So I started hobbying around making knives and taking them to the gun show. Just sold enough of them to be encouraging. And in January of 1988, I got angry with the people I worked for and walked out. And I've been doing this full time ever since.
Outstanding. And would you? I understand that you make katanas.
Yes.
Would you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. This is one of my L6 bayonet blades. The blade is made from a tool steel alloy called L6.
That is beautiful.
If it had a 4-digit AISI number, it would be 4370. It looks fairly traditional. It's not in any way traditional for heat treatment. On a traditionally made Japanese blade, the edges are usually about Rockwell C60 to 62, which is quite hard. But the body above the hamon is generally in the mid-20s to maybe 30. And they bend quite easily if you're not correctly aligned and making a big cut on the big roll of tatami mats. Most of my sword customers are very experienced martial artists with many years of training, and they often compete in tournaments where they cut a whole bunch of rolled up mats with bamboo. And they're graded on forms and how well they cut. My swords are really difficult to bend, so that's really what sells me.
What's the Rockwell on yours on the back?
Well, the edges are 61, but the back of the blade is 50. And it's a microstructure called bayonet. It will yield, and they will bend, but it's difficult.
I know Dave said that you're a master at heat treating, too.
Yeah, I got obsessed with metallurgy and heat treatment early on, and had the good fortune to be able to work with Professor John Verhoeven from Iowa State University and Alfred Pendray, who was famous for rediscovering roots. They worked together on that project quite a bit, and I was fortunate enough to be involved in some heat treating experiments and some of the lab work like that. And Professor Verhoeven and I did a study on modern pattern welded steel in the early 90s, and made 8 different combinations of materials in Damascus, and then we made 1-inch diameter round bars out of them and did geometry end quench tests according to the ASTM specs to determine the hardenability of different mixtures of material, and then examined them under the microscope and took pictures. It was all published in materials characterization.
Interesting. Can you tell us about this one a little bit?
Nobody saw it in the knife world, but it's out there in academia. This blade is a combination of 1086 and L6. The L6 is the shiny stripe, and the 1086 are the dark lines. If you look down the center of it, it's darker towards the edge than it is up here. That's because the 1086 layers only harden in the thin section along the edge. And above that dark area, the black lines are quite a bit softer than the shiny lines.
Okay.
The L6 layers harden through all the way to the spine.
Interesting.
So if you put a blade like this on a Rockwell machine, Because it's tempered a little bit hotter and it's a different material, the edge ends up around 58, 59. But the Rockwell machine reads 40 to 42 back here because it's a compromise between the two different hardnesses of the layers. And we sectioned a few blades and looked at them in the microscope and micro hardness tested layers. So I miss John being retired. I don't get to do that stuff.
What's the handle material on here?
That's two-colored G10. All right, it's a glass and resin composite. And that piece is dismountable, very similar to the way a Japanese sword dismounts, except that they're screws with hollow tubes that are threaded internally. You take the screws out, push the pins out, and the whole thing gets assembled.
Interesting.
Howard, could you do a favor for me? We have a friend in the knife community. His YouTube channel is called Addicted to Blades, and he loves katanas. Could you say hello, Addicted to Blades, too?
Hello, Addicted to Blades.
All right.
Thank you very much.
you,
Appreciate
sir.
you.
You're
welcome.
Appreciate you giving us your time today, and beautiful, beautiful work.
Thank you.
Yep.
Have a good day.